You know, as much as I love my job, you see the way I popped out on your asses? As much as I love my job, as much as I love my career, I don't think there's a such thing as never feeling anxious, even when you're doing something that you love. Like whoever started the narrative when you do what you love, you never work a day in your life, that's some motherfucking bullshit. And I think it's some bullshit because I absolutely love what I'm doing right now. I wouldn't rather be doing anything else in the world right now. And I genuinely mean that. 100%, absolutely. But I definitely be dealing with stress. I definitely be dealing with anxiety. And as happy as I am to come to this place, that shit be hard to deal with sometimes. And you know, lately, one of the things that's been really making me anxious is being so busy here that I don't have enough time to fulfill my own personal dreams and my own personal goals. So I might be at the studio from sun up to sundown, but that doesn't leave a lot of room for me to scout locations to podcast outside. And so then before I know it, days turn into weeks and weeks turn into months. And then before you know it, I haven't gotten any further to my own personal goals. And that shit can make you feel a little empty inside sometimes because you feel like you're stagnated, right? Like when you have an idea of like moving forward and growing and making moves, it's all about motion. Motion is the centerpiece to all of that shit. But when you standing still, you're not in motion. And when you're not in motion, you feel stuck. And when you feel stuck, you feel stagnated, you feel depressed, and now you're in your head, and now you got all these emotions that you're dealing with all at one time, and it's tough. So instead of crying and complaining and not having the free time to go outside and podcast, I'm a podcast in here. I'm gonna bring the podcast in here. I'm gonna bring y'all into my workplace. This shit about to be like MTV Cribs. So you about to watch me pick up my lunch that I had for dinner because I ain't had time to go get no food. You about to see me rearrange these microphones. You about to see me go in between these rooms and shut all these lights off and do all this type of stuff. Wanna know why? Because podcasting is life. Progress is life. And I will not make excuses. I will find a way to stay productive. Because if I don't make the time will never happen. It doesn't matter that I gotta be here all day and all night. If I don't make the time, it will never happen. And then I gotta ask myself, if it never happens, can I live with that? Even though I'm super busy, I didn't have the discipline to cut out a sliver of time for myself. So you know what? We might not be somewhere outside of New York right now, but we indoors at my job, and now we about to podcast. So I'm compromising, man. And you know what? I personally think this is gonna be pretty cool. Because at the end of the day, not doing nothing is not the solution. You gotta do something. Because change is not gonna come to you. You gotta make change happen. So this is me making change happen by taking the trash out and podcasting with y'all. And this makes me feel good. It makes me feel good because I feel like I'm taking control of my life. I feel like I'm moving around the excuses and I'm coming up with the solution. And as I come up with the solution, it makes me feel more clear. Like I feel more level-headed because I feel like I'm getting a step closer to my dreams. Even though I couldn't do it the way I wanted to do it, I'm willing to pivot. Because sometimes you just got to be willing and able to pivot. Like sometimes what you plan might not exactly look like that, but what are you willing to do to move forward now? Now that I know that I didn't have no time to go outside and scout a location, I couldn't go to Washington Square Park, I couldn't go to Prospect Park, I couldn't go to Central Park, I couldn't find some aesthetically pleasing, dope New York City corner. What are you going to do now? Well, now I'm a podcast in the studio. And why not, bro? Why not? This is the place that I spend the most of my time. I spend more time here than when I'm at my actual crib. I tell people I got two jobs. I tell people I got two homes. I say I live in the Bronx and I say I live in the Lower East Side. It's just one address I pay rent for. And you know, one thing that I want to share with y'all that's really been helping me, something that's really been giving me a lot of clarity, is a mantra that I came up when I was walking. I don't know what it is about the subconscious mind, but sometimes I just be minding my business, chilling, doing my thing, and then these words will just appear in my mind. And sometimes the words be sounding good. Sounded so good, in fact, that I gotta write it down in my notes. But when the words came to my mind this time, my phone was dead. So I was about like 15 minutes away from the studio, and I knew that what had popped into my head was very important. If I could just repeat it enough times and get to the studio in time to charge my phone and write it down in my notes, that it would change everything. So I kept repeating it and repeating it and repeating it. And I noticed something. As I continued to repeat it, I started to feel better. I started to become less tense. I felt like my shoulders was dropping. I felt like I was taking deeper breaths. I was less anxious and less concerned and worried about what people on the street was thinking when they saw me. I was just, I was just more present. And what I heard in my mind was this: I'm not bothered, I'm not worried, and I'm not concerned. And so as I was walking, I just kept hearing this mantra in my mind, and I just kept repeating it and repeating it and repeating it. And the more I said it, the better I felt, and the more comfortable I got in my body, and I wasn't tense, and my shoulders was dropped, and I was just feeling more comfortable in my body. And when that shit came to my mind, I was like, ooh, that kind of got like a ring to it. Because this whole podcast is really just the story of me building a brand and learning how to build a brand. I've never built a successful brand before, but being at this podcast studio, you have the luxury of being around a lot of rich motherfuckers, a lot of rich and very fortunate people who have all built $1 million businesses and corporations and brands themselves. And when I look at what they've done and how they did it, one thing that comes to mind is that they have brand identity. What is brand identity? Colors that you associate with the brand, music that you associate with the brand, people that you associate with the brand, style, clothing, scents, vibes, typography, text, and sometimes even a mantra. So when this came to my mind, I instantly knew I had to write this down, because if this was something that was helping me, a person who usually lives with a little bit of anxiousness just on the daily, and this was able to take that away from me, then I knew that this was something that was worthy to share with y'all. I'm not bothered, I'm not worried, and I'm not concerned. And I just kept repeating it and repeating it and repeating it and repeating it. And you know what? From that moment forward, I just kept saying it. I just kept saying over and over and over again, I'm not bothered, I'm not worried, and I'm not concerned. Because sometimes when you're on this journey and it's just you, and you're doing the best you can, you got your friends, you got your significant other, you got your relationships, you got a good life, right? But it doesn't mean that we bulletproof from having anxiety. And it doesn't mean that we bulletproof from suffering from some things that we know should be simple, but in actuality, it's pretty difficult to deal with. You know, in the Bible, it says the power of life and death is in the tongue. And even if you're not a religious person, it could be interpreted as that your words are very powerful, and your words can manifest things. Your words can bend reality and your words can create new realities depending on what you believe. So if you believe words are powerful, and you believe that the things you say can have an effect on your reality, then wouldn't it be powerful to have a mantra that you keep with you on a day-to-day basis when you know that you need it the most? Just like your favorite song, you might listen to a song when you're anxious because the lyrics make you feel good and make you feel calm. It helps you get back centered to a place where you can be stable and you're not feeling out of control no more. I think a mantra can be used as the same thing. And think about that. When you're speaking to yourself and you're telling yourself, I'm not bothered, I'm not worried, and I'm not concerned, I think what that's doing is it's promoting a safe space in your being. It's reminding yourself that everything is really cool. Because sometimes that's how anxiousness works. Sometimes you're so used to and so familiar with being anxious that you just be anxious for no reason. Like there's definitely been times where I've caught myself and I had to be mindful of the fact like, yo, what the fuck are you anxious about? Drop your shoulders. Why are you holding your breath? Breathe. And you know, I think it's just because I spend so much of my life just living in anxiety that sometimes being anxious is just my default. But that's not the life that I want for myself. That's not the quality of life that I desire. I desire a quality of life where I'm comfortable in my skin 9 times out of 10. Maybe there's no such thing as being completely anxiety free, but I'm cool with that though. I settle for the next best thing. And if the next best thing is training your body and training your being to learn how to get rid of stress quickly, then I think it's worth practicing. Sometimes you gotta remind yourself, I'm not bothered, I'm not worried. Sometimes you gotta speak what it is that you want in your life, even when it's not there. Sometimes that's the only hope that you got. Sometimes the only hope that you have is to speak what you want, even though you don't see it. Because that's what it means to have faith in the first place, right? To believe in what you can't see. Well, in the moment, you might be anxious, but I want you to believe in the fact that you could have a peaceful life, that you could have a peaceful experience. So yeah, that was just a mantra that I came up with, and it was really helpful to me. And I figured if it was helpful to me, maybe it could be helpful to you. So yeah, man, it's been a great day. I'm just committed to being productive right now, because when I'm productive, I feel aligned. I feel like I'm on the right path in my life. I feel like I'm doing things to get me one baby step closer to what it is that I say I want out of life. Because that's the thing about being busy. You could be doing so much work that before you know it, months go by and you're not getting any closer to your dreams. And time is something that you can't get back, man. All I'm saying is, man, you got to make a way sometimes. Even if you can't find a way, you got to make a way. Sometimes making a way, even though you can't find a way, is your only solution. And you got to ask yourself, if it came down to you not having a way, but you had to make a way, would you do it? Because I'm going to do it. If I got to bring this podcast to work with me, I'm going to bring this podcast to work with me. So yeah, man, another day at the job. Life is a journey, man. We're constantly learning lessons. You're never going to have this shit perfectly mastered, but you can get better with time. And that's all I aspire to do. All I aspire to be and do is to get better with time. And I just hope that it's somewhere down the line that some of these conversations is helpful to you, you know? And with that being said, man, I'm out. I got here at like 10 a.m. It's 11 p.m. right now. And I will be right back at 9 a.m. And I'm excited about it. Because one of the things that I've realized about life is that it's not so much about you being tired, it's about you not being excited about the thing that you're tired for. Because do I get a lot of sleep? Not really. But when I wake up in the morning, I can't help but have a smile on my face because I'm excited about what I'm looking forward to. And that's a very, very important thing about life. Everybody should be looking forward to something, or at least have something that you can look forward to. Being able to look forward to something is the thing that keeps you motivated. It's the thing that keeps you inspired. But when you find yourself in a cognitive loop in life and you're no longer looking forward to things because nothing is exciting you anymore, that's when you have a problem. That's when you potentially can fall more victim to depression, anxiety, and stress. And we don't got time for that. So yeah, I might not get a lot of sleep, but I'm very excited about what the next day might bring. And you genuinely never know. Like, I didn't know that I would be coming into work today and be hearing a story about my boss chilling with J. Cole, chilling with Drake, chilling with Beyonce with her toes out. Like, this shit is crazy. And what I take from it all is that I'm in the right place. I'm definitely in a place in my life where I'm exactly where I need to be, because this is the closest I've ever known some people to be to the top. And what is the top? Billionaires, trillionaires. And aside from that, even just people who are so successful that they are the cultural leaders, they're the gatekeepers, that it is a good sign that I'm on my way, because I work for them. And it's cool working for young black people who hustle hard and who are pioneers in this field. Like there's nobody else in the podcasting field that is doing shit like my bosses. And I just think they're so cool, man. It's so inspiring to see them travel around the world and have these experiences, because they're building a brand, and it's an honor to be a part of their vision. It's an honor to be a part of their team. It's an honor to be a black man working at a black-owned studio with black bosses. There's really nothing more I could ask for in life. I don't need a big house. I don't need a big car. I'm so happy I started from a place where I didn't even know if this was possible, and now I'm here. And now that I'm here, I got 100% confidence that what's coming next is for me, and it's gonna happen. And I feel pretty confident about that, because I look at my bosses who are definitely at the next stage after where I'm at, and they're excited, and they living life, and they thriving, and they making their moves. Yeah, man, so with that being said, I hope this was helpful to somebody. I love y'all. As always, man, stay blessed. And don't forget the mantra: I'm not bothered, I'm not worried, and I'm not concerned. Say that shit as many times as you need to until it becomes part of your mind. I need that shit to be stuck in your head like a song you hate but you can't help but sing. I need that shit to be stuck in your head like a song you really hate but you can't help but love after a while. I'm not bothered, I'm not worried, and I'm not concerned. I want you to say that every time you're around somebody who make you anxious. I want you to say that every time you're around that special someone that you like but you don't know how to act normal around them. I want you to say that to yourself every single time you fuck up at your job again and you know you on that third strike and you just praying they don't fire your ass. I want you to say that every single time you see your account $300 in the negative, every single time your credit card get maxed out, every single time you in a place in your life where that shit is applicable. I want you to say it with me now: I'm not bothered, I'm not worried, and I'm not concerned. And if that works for you, please let me know. Because I made that shit. And if it's helpful, I want to know that I'm out here having creative, positive thoughts that's helping niggas out here. I want to know that type of shit. I know anxiety is a real thing. I know stress is a real thing, but it doesn't have to live in your body for longer than it needs to. Anxiety and stress doesn't need to overstay its welcome. Let it come to you. Let it come to you when it comes, because that's a normal part of life. Assess the situation, assess what's making you feel anxious, and assess how you feel. You don't gotta lie about it. You don't gotta front on your feelings. Like, assess the fact that, no, I am anxious. I am tensed up right now. But after you're done assessing it, repeat the mantra. I'm not bothered, I'm not worried, and I'm not concerned. And you say that as many times as you need to until it's not in your body no more. And then you go back to balling, and then you get back to what's really important in life, balling on that court. Because this is your season. You're not on the bench yet. You got the rock in your hand and everybody watching. The cameras is flashing, the reporters is reporting, and all you got to do is make it look sexy. All you got to do is make it look good. Because if you don't, then who will? I'm out.